This is the Future of Automotive with Steve Greenfield.
Welcome back to the latest episode of the Future of Automotive on CBT News, where we put recent automotive and mobility news into the context of the broader themes impacting the industry. I'm Steve Greenfield from Automotive Ventures, and I'm glad that you could join us. There was a great article this last week in the Financial Times with some speculation on why American roads are so much more dangerous than other countries. The key takeaway from the article? While the number of people killed in traffic collisions fell by almost 4% in 2023, the bad news is the mortality rate on U.S. roads is still 25% up from a decade earlier and 3 times the rate of the average developed country. To put all of this into perspective, there are over 42,000 traffic fatalities in the U.S. each year, and there are about 8,000 pedestrian deaths each year due to vehicles. There is some glimmer of hope in this data. While the total number of miles driven by Americans increased last year, and U.S. cars continue to grow larger, fatal collisions actually declined year over year. 63% of American drivers take trips of less than a mile, compared with just 16% in the UK. But even after adjusting for distance driven, U.S. fatality rates remain double the developed world average. The main reasons American roads are so unsafe stem from how Americans drive, not how much they drive. Regarding vehicle size, there is an abundance of evidence that larger cars are more deadly to pedestrians, but the contribution of America's bloated fleet to its fatality rates actually turns out to be pretty modest. U.S. pedestrian deaths would only fall about 10% if all SUVs and pickup trucks were replaced with standard-sized cars. And the U.S. is the only country in which the rise in popularity of large cars has coincided with a rise in pedestrian fatalities. So there's something else going on here. The unknown factor may very well be the American drivers themselves. It turns out that the U.S. road deaths have been driven almost exclusively by pedestrian fatalities happening at dusk under fading light when drivers are most likely to be using their phones. A theory emerged that the proliferation of smartphones in a population who, unlike their European counterparts, almost exclusively drive cars with automatic transmissions, gives Americans a false sense of security about how dangerous it is to multitask while they're at the wheel. Another fact, Americans are twice as likely as Canadians or Europeans to say they find it acceptable to use a phone while driving. And Americans are much less likely to wear seatbelts than most Europeans, and also have higher rates of drunk driving. So the conclusion is that we can blame driver behaviors in the US, not the proliferation of larger vehicles. If this is all attributable to bad driver behavior, then this can all be corrected. We can save lives if we just get drivers to put down their phones, wear their seatbelts, and not drive after drinking, which all seems like common sense to me. So with that, let's transition to our companies to watch. Every week, we highlight interesting companies in the automotive technology space to keep an eye on. If you read my weekly Intel report, we showcase a company to watch and take the opportunity here on this segment to share that company with you. Today, our new company to watch is Lookout. Lookout provides an AI-powered camera for boats to navigate safely on the water. As a virtual first mate, Lookout watches everything ahead and behind your boat, using advanced computer vision algorithms to spot small vessels, floating debris, buoys, or people in the water for the safest boating experience. If there's low visibility, there's no problem. Lookout allows you to see through the darkness with infrared vision. A dedicated night vision sensor gives you the view you need to navigate confidently. The Lookout solution synthesizes data from charts, AIS, computer vision, and the cloud, and then fuses it all into one intuitive, 3D augmented reality view. The Lookout camera addresses the top 5 contributing factors of accidents, which include operator inattention, inexperience, improper lookout, excessive speed, and navigation rule violations. If you'd like to learn more about Lookout, you can check them out at www.getalookout.com. So that's it for this week's Future of Automotive segment. If you're an auto tech entrepreneur working on a solution that helps car dealerships, we want to hear from you. We are actively investing out of our dealer fund. If you're interested in joining our investment club to make direct investments in auto tech and mobility startups, please join. There's no obligation to start seeing our deal flow, and we continue to have attractive investment deals available to our members. Don't forget to check out my book, The Future of Automotive Retail, which is available at Amazon.com, and keep an eye out for my new book, The Future of Mobility, which is almost done and will be out soon. Thanks as always for your ongoing support and for tuning into CBT News for this week's Future of Automotive segment. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching The Future of Automotive with Steve Greenfield.